All right, what's up, everyone? My name is Josh Brown, and today I'm going to be presenting my research project on the Srixon ZXi5 irons. This project is basically about understanding how golfers make decisions when buying new irons and how they actually feel about a specific product at hand. In this case, that's going to be about Srixon. My purpose of my study, the main goal of this study was to look at three things. Pretty much how people decide buying irons, what factors matters most to them, and how they feel about the Srixon ZXi5 overall. Instead of just looking at one source, I combined multiple types of research to get more than like a more complete picture overall. This project is pretty much broken into three parts. First, I looked at the target audience and how golfers interact with brands online. Second, I analyzed survey data from 40 plus golfers that I sent out my survey to. And third, I looked at real social media conversations to understand what people were saying about the irons, good, bad, and all of the above. Putting all three together gives a much clearer answer than just using one method and doing my research in particular about golf clubs in general, not just Srixon itself. So my target audience, the main audience for these irons is everyday golfers. The weekend players, the normal recreational golfer. Most of them are ages between 25 and 55, so there's a big range of consumers, and they're not all pros. They're weekend players who just want to get better and enjoy the game. I feel like that falls for a lot of people. A lot of them they fall into the mid and high handicap range. So the forgiveness to the consumer is very important. Customer personas. I broke the audience into three types of golfers. First is the weekend golfer, someone who plays casually and wants some forgiveness. Second is a data-driven buyer. This person watches YouTube reviews and looks at stats before buying. And third is the experienced golfer who cares more about feel and consistency than anything else. The ZXi5 actually appeals to all three, which is part of why it's so successful and why it's such a highly regarded golf club in today's golf market. The competitive landscape. When you look at competitors like TaylorMade, they focus on distance and technology. And Callaway, they focus on forgiveness and ease of use. Srixon's a little different. They haven't been at the top of their game for a very long time, and just here recently, they have absolutely exploded with the iron market. They focus more on a balance, especially feel and consistency. That's pretty much that's their bread and butter. That positioning helps them stand out even though they're not heavily marketed. TaylorMade and Callaway are a much more marketed brand. Their product is known by a lot of people, and I think Srixon's starting to pick up on being a heavy hitter in the golf world. So my survey methodology, what I did was for the survey, I collected responses from over 40 golfers with different experience levels. So I sent this out to a bunch of my friends who play and are familiar with the clubs or have the clubs. And I also sent it out to golf pros. I sent it out to members that I know at different clubs. I sent it to a wide range of golfers. And overall, that pretty much helped me get my direct feedback that I was looking for. And I think all of them play on a regular basis. So I got very good feedback. And I got good data overall from just interacting with the people around me and in my circle. So some key purchasing factors, the biggest takeaway from the survey, that it was actually what drives people to buy the irons. The top factors that I came across was the forgiveness, and it was forgiveness actually by a pretty wide margin. Forgiveness and feel for sure. After that, distance and brand rep was a really big factor that played a role, and price did too. But it wasn't nearly as close as the first two from anything I got online from the reviews you know, um, and the people that I sent my survey out to. The price honestly wasn't a big factor at all. Surprisingly, it was more or less the performance of the clubs. So some survey insights that I got. Overall, the survey results were very positive. Most golfers were already aware of the irons. A lot of them had either tried them or were interested in them. The satisfactory levels are very high, which shows the product is definitely meeting its expectations. So the social media platforms that I looked at, a lot of it came from Reddit, Golf WRX, Instagram, and review sites primarily, like consumer sites, golf websites, um, and even like YouTube is a big one too. YouTube reviews are big. A lot of people overlook them and don't really research it that way. Like, go to your online forums, but watch videos on these things too. I think that was like a very big decision for a lot of people. I feel like nowadays is watching a video on it. So my sentiment results, they were mostly positive. About 70% of the comments were positive, 17% were neutral, and only about 12% were negative. So I think the overall perception of the ZXi5 is definitely very strong and is in a very good place. So some common themes that I had in my survey or in my project overall was people talked a lot about the feel. Words like, a lot of them said they were buttery, which is a common golf term. Smooth came up a lot. Forgiveness and consistency were also very big. A lot of people like turf interaction, overall look of the club at address. Why customers chose the ZXi5? So the main reason people chose the ZXi5, they look like players' irons, but they're not. They're a weekend player iron, and they have a combination of distance, feel, consistency, and just an easy iron to hit, a good iron to look at, and just a really, really good product overall. So a couple opportunities for improvement. A lot of people say like more customization options. I feel like was a big one, and that's with anything. Better durability was one too. Some people were having problems with its durability and its longevity, and some slightly lower pricing. These aren't major issues, but they're things that Srixon could be improve on even more. And lastly, my final conclusion to wrap everything up, the Srixon ZXi5 irons reviews were amazing. They perform well. Across all three parts of this project, the biggest takeaway is that feel, forgiveness, and consistency matter the most, and the Srixon ZXi5 delivers all three. That's why I was able to compete so well in a really crowded market. Thank you guys so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day.